What's poppin', guys? Sean Don is back with the technical analysis. Here we have Austin Hill for the trifecta, his third technical analysis, but his first in-depth technical analysis. So I'm excited to break things down for him a little bit more in depth. So let's get into it. A little different view this time. We get more of a side view. You get to see some different things. I get to check out posture a little bit more in depth, and you'll get to still see, just some different aspects of technique. So, wind and 3-turn. Definitely looking better though. Looking improved. Looks like there's more speed on the ball, more power behind it. So let's break it down. So the wind, Austin, if I recall correctly, I said more weight on your left side previously, and it's a little bit hard to tell from this angle. But you can see you're doing a good job of turning your shoulders back, and posture is getting closer to being set. As the ball comes through 0, you can still see your hips are the initial thing that goes back, rather than keeping your hips forward. So you want to keep your hips just about there, but then have your shoulders more up and down over your hips. Shoulders over hips, hip under shoulders, whatever you want to call it. There's this break in posture right here, so you can see there is a slight forward lean in your trunk, which is no good. That is what I would call suboptimal, inefficient hammer posture, weight posture, whatever you want to call it. But otherwise, as you come through 0, you can see that left side start to turn prematurely, and this is, I think, your biggest problem outside of the posture thing. The left side opening early is kind of what causes you to come off the ground later in the turns, so as you come through 0, think about holding this left side, keeping this left side exactly where it is, and using entirely the right side to propel the ball around you. As you can see, this right foot, as it comes through 270, you need to think about turning the right foot. Now, it doesn't always turn, but if you don't think about turning it until the ball is at 0, then it's too late. So you need to think about turning that right foot and using this right leg and pushing off that right leg as the ball comes through 270. So then as it comes through 0, it actually does start turning. As you can see, it's hard to tell exactly at what point your right foot starts turning, but either way, immediately you see your hips shift back, left side starts to lead, and you see your left foot is ahead of the ball while your right foot is still pointing back towards 0. That's kind of disconnected in a way. Ideally, you want your right leg and left leg and shoulders and hips and everything square to the ball as the ball comes through double support. Also, because posture does break and your left side leads early, you can see your right foot comes off the ground, looks like right about there, at about what I would say 45 degrees. If the camera view is close to 90, you can see your right foot really shouldn't come up until the ball gets to about this point. But since this left side does come early, which you can see especially at this point right here, you can see all this tension through this left shoulder, your head's peaking, and your right leg's doing everything it can to catch up, but the left side's just so far ahead it's not ideal. Not ideal, but otherwise it's come through 0. Like I said, left side's just leading. Left side leads, right foot picks up early, so try to keep this right foot down longer. Let the ball, like I said, you got to use more right side to get the ball to pass more efficiently. The more right side you use, the easier it is to stay connected with both sides of the body rather than just the left side. This tight left shoulder is a no-no. I feel so nerdy saying that, but otherwise, as you come through single support, this is something that still kind of bugs me a little bit about your throw, is this sneaky little right foot sneaky little snake. It needs to be more up and over. You need to have more knee drive rather than this is almost like a discus turn in a way. Your right foot stays pretty low to the ground, and I guess it's not that big of a deal that your right foot's that low to the ground. It's that this right leg is inefficient. It goes around the left leg rather than up and over the left leg. So I think that's why you have the tendency to pick up early. You pick up early because you know this single support movement with the right leg is so long, so you come out early to try to catch early. But in reality, you do catch the ball early, but I think you could, if you held this right foot on the ground longer and got more of an active knee drive, like A-skip, pulling that heel to the butt, so it's like an adjusted A-skip, not exactly, but more knee drive, and try to come up and over this left shin rather than around it, you'd have a much more efficient single support movement. That would allow you to catch earlier while also keeping your foot on the ground longer. So do that. But yeah, so otherwise this little sneaky right leg movement is what I like to call it, because it looks like you're just like trying to tiptoe that right foot in there. Also leads to your hips being back away from you on the catch. And you can't tell at all from this view, but from seeing your other videos, I know that your hips are back at this point, like they just were in the finish or in the entry, and your shoulders are a little bit forward. You can even see the tilt in the left shoulder is a little bit down, rather than being square, chest up, hips forward towards the ball. You can see the hips are away from the ball once again with that lean. And then as you come down and you start working the ball through, you can see your right foot's working with the ball better here. So this is good. Great job working your right foot more in the second turn. And because of that, let's see how it affects. You can see there's still a little left side leading here, but the biggest thing, this right foot comes in and you can't quite use it. Do you land heel first? It looks like you just land flat-footed. I would say either try to, if you are going to land flat-footed, you really have to try extra hard to turn this right foot. And if you don't want to land flat-footed, then try to land on the ball of the foot. That way you can be much more active right from the start, because as you can see, you catch and the ball moves 3 or 4 or 5 frames without this right leg doing anything until you get onto that ball of the foot and you finally connect with it a little bit more with that right side. Also, what would help being able to work that right side more is catching with better posture, so meaning hips underneath you. If your hips are back, it almost renders that right side ineffective. You can see you're doing a good job. Like, you are sort of anterior or posteriorly tilted, which is decent, but still this forward lean, this forward trunk lean, I'm not a fan of it, and I don't think it's very efficient. And to throw like that, you have to be very strong. So definitely try to, once again, get your hips more forwards and your shoulders back against the hips, hips towards the ball, stuff like that. Otherwise, as you come through zero, like I said, right foot turns more, and you can see your right foot does a much better job working through here. You can see this right femur is perfectly, not perfectly, but more in line with the position of the ball, which is very good. But you still see that right foot has a tendency to kind of pick up early because that left side is so tight. And your right leg action is better in single sport in this turn, but you can still see, yeah, that the residual left side tension is still there. Tight left shoulder, eyes leading. You're a little bit more square with the ball here than you were in the first turn, but you're still picking up early. Ball's back on that right hip. So you're creating a lot of separation between the upper and lower body, and that's a good thing early in double support, but later in double support you want it to be more even. You want to, like I said, be more square with the ball rather than ahead of it like you are right now. But like I said, this good right leg action, really, you're able to drive that right hip forwards towards the ball. But then you see this left knee also kind of over-rotates. Try to keep this left knee blocked off and kind of pointed more towards the sector. That way you step more towards the direction of the sector rather than stepping around so much. As you can see, you almost come 100% back around, catching kind of late, just before 270, which is, I mean, in terms of weight throw, that's not bad at all. But I think if this left leg wasn't so rotational, and at this point right here, you could transfer all your energy more linear, your bodily energy. The ball's going to bring you around. The ball's going to have that rotational energy, momentum, whatever you want to call it, but you need to have more linear energy. You have just too much a little bit rotational within your body. Otherwise, as you catch, you can still see that tilt in the left shoulder. Hips are sort of back, but it's getting better. So this position right here is much closer to ideal posture, in my opinion. You should be starting the weight throw in about this position. Your shoulders could still be back a little bit more, or even, I would say, knees forward, hips forward, and then keep your shoulders where they're at. Your hips would be underneath you, your knees would be a little bit more forward and more front squat position, whereas early on in the throw, like through here, that's kind of more of like a back squat sort of position. So think more front squat position rather than back squat. So this is closer to good posture. So that's good. But you can still see your right foot kind of comes down flat-footed and doesn't do anything. So like that good right foot turning you had in the previous turn kind of goes away now. And you catch, like I said, just before 270, but then it doesn't really, your right foot doesn't do anything until the ball's already back at zero. And so since that right side is not doing anything, your head pulls, your left side is still creating tension, and you can see your left leg is kind of turning ahead of the ball. but you're doing a good job of getting that right knee to turn with that left side. The left side just already has way too much tension, and once again, same thing, previous turn, picking up way too early, ball's just past zero, your right foot's already off the ground, and the ball's behind you when it should be right foot still on the ground, turning with the ball, and then you should get to this point right about here, and everything should be square, whereas you can see this left side is still leading. Left side has even more tension, it's higher than the right. And then, but you're doing a good job once again, at least in this single support. So this right knee drive is getting better as the throw goes on. You just need to find it in the entry. If you can get it in every turn rather than just the last turn, you would be much better off, in my opinion. You can also see, though, because the left side is pulling so much and you're extending also a lot through this left leg, that you do once again come kind of high. That left foot just barely almost comes off the ground. Can't exactly tell. Looks like you stick it, but that's definitely getting better from the previous two throws that I analyzed. So this right foot comes through. Try to keep this left knee bent once again in the direction of the sector. Drop this left knee towards 180. It has that strong rotational energy because of the left side creating tension. And then you catch. I mean, you're back. You catch early, but this is not exactly ideal positioning. It's not a very strong position, so you probably have to fight your way out of it. But yeah, you do a good job of sitting back into the ball. So you catch, and then you can see you finally get. So this is once again more of the ideal posture. Hips, shoulders in line. But once again, that's a timer. Unrelated to this technical analysis, but yeah, so you can see this left side is still leading, very strong, strong left side, not in the good way, but you do a good job of trying to hold it and let the ball come out. Like, you have a very good directional energy on the finish, which is good. You actually kind of hop backwards a little bit, which is interesting, just a little bit. But yeah, so Austin, I think this is once again another improvement from the previous two throws I analyzed, and it was nice to break this thing down and really get down to the nitty gritty and point some things out that you need to work on more specifically. But yeah, so otherwise, like, the wind looks pretty solid. It's just you got to get that right side working more in the entry. You get that right side working more, that left side is going to hold better. You're going to turn with the ball better. You're going to be more patient. So you get that right side working more, and the biggest thing is, once again, patience. Or, excuse me, the other P word, posture. You need to get your hips forwards. You need to get your shoulders back more in the entry. So when you set up, think about pushing your knees forwards over your toes. Like I said, front squat position, knees over toes, hips forward underneath shoulders. If you do all that stuff well, it'll be easier to work your right side. You'll be more connected. You'll be more patient. And then, like I said, this right foot action in single support in this very first entry could be much improved. And then you'd have better posture, and then you'd be more efficient, and you'd feel more powerful, and all that other stuff. So have James Plummer watch this video and help you out, and you'll definitely be throwing farther. Because, like I said, this is improvement on the other two throws, and I think there's still more there. So keep up the good work, man. I'm excited to see how you progress. So if you want a technical analysis of your own for everybody out there watching, go to SeanDonnelly.biz, go to the services page, in-depth technical analysis, or if you want to join hashtag SDTC, the Sean Don Throws Club, I guess. I just prefer SDTC because it's anonymous in a way. Then yeah, join the club and sign up for a technique membership, a throws membership, lifting, elite, whatever it is, and get some legit coaching from your boy Sean Don and start making those gains. So thanks for watching. Sean Don, peace and out.